Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. This morning, lots to unpack, um, and we begin with a video.
Me, and I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave. I moved on, did not do any
You said
business.
he helped fund your political
I
enterprise.
never said that. I said that he proposed to give the Howard Scholarship, which is what I do in all realms. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on. And for don't distort it as if, he and I were bombale. This is someone that destroyed my life.
Were you aware of the pre-cops? Because
So I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life, no interaction. That level, everything was strictly on a professional level.
So my kids keep me humble. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble.
I find it interesting that there's been such loud attacks from politicians, white politicians, against Black people in this country as of late. Now, I'm not shocked that it's been happening for centuries, but y'all are getting bolder. Your clansestry is coming through. First, we get Donald Trump and JD Vance admitting that they're lying about Haitian immigrants eating pets in Springfield, causing bomb threats to occur towards children who are in school and communities of Haitian immigrants. Now we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying that she wants a Black woman to be humbled because she has children that humbles her. Really, Sarah, is that the case? Your children humble you? Yet you seem to forget what you are doing to Black children in Arkansas. Where's your humility? Because right now, the NAACP is in the process with students attempting to sue you for trying to remove African American studies as a course, as an option for Black children. Are you afraid that that history will humble you? It's very telling that there is an obsession with wanting to humble Black people as if we don't know our place. And exactly who determines our place? Did we step out of line when we decided that we were going to get educated and hold positions of power? Because apparently, Black people being in positions of power, whether it be in corporate, education, or even in the presidency, it's bothering some of you. Some of you are showing your true selves, knowing that you've never had to answer to a Black person, and now you want to humble them. That's very telling because it says that you don't have to listen to Black people. So you want to humble them into a position of inferiority. Your mediocrity is showing.
First and foremost, Sean, I forget. Oh, I can't say I forgot, but I didn't know he talked like that with that accent, that heavy accent. I guess he's gotten older too, so it's gonna get heavier. But that dude had every reason. Now he's a big time politician. Um, he had every yeah, he's always grizzled. He had every reason. He says I'm very petty, and if Shine was anything like me, he'd have been like on those cameras. Be like, yeah, what's up? Take that, take that. 'Cause that what Shine did for Diddy, and for Diddy to have betrayed him the way he did. This is why you don't see any celebrity. This is one reason why you don't see anybody stepping up and saying like, I support Diddy, or we don't know the full story, or just the whatever, because that dude just messed over everybody in his path, and it's a shame. It really is a shame. We're gonna talk about a little bit of that this morning. Homegirl says white politician talking about comma, and then she broke it down. And um, thing is, it used to be Aunt Pam is watching too, so she can really break it down. But it used to be that there's a line in our community, and everybody would have your back if we could talk about each other. Put it that way. But once y'all start, I don't understand why folks don't stand up for the vice president when they start having these racial attacks. I'm not saying you should stand up for her on her policies or whatever. If you don't like them, you don't like them. It is what it is. But when they start doing stuff like that, be humbled. She needs to be humbled, though. And it should ring some really, really uh, disconcerting bells for it does for black women. Look, she was up there. She was this. We saw the video. This I always forget her name, Greer, but she's so good at this. And but it should do for all of us, black men, for sure, because you know what they're saying. You know what they're saying. That all she needs to be having a bunch of kids using the welfare system with the Aunt Jemima thing wrapped around scarf wrapped around her head and in the kitchen and head down. And yet we have to have a debate on whether or not on how many black folks, black men in general, are supporting that side. That shouldn't even be a conversation. Shouldn't even be a conversation. Know your place. Hey, y'all kidding? Know your place. Is pretty much what she was saying. I love that what's clan ancestry. She hit it out the park with that clan ancestry. Because that's what it's all about with Sarah Huckabee Sanders and the rest of them. An appeals court we know rejected Diddy's second bail attempt. We said we're going to talk about that, but some really, really important stuff coming up. Government shutdown is all but certain this time. Donald Trump wants the government to shut down. The MAGA folks believe that shutting the government down is going to help Trump win the election. We'll talk about that this morning. Racial disparities in breast cancer mortality rates across all tumor types have been revealed again in a brand new study. We'll bring you some information on that. Also, how about this? Listen, you'll see a spike in passports applications if indeed the other guy, the crazy man, wins. But the State Department, it says, we understand. We're making it easier. I mean, it's not necessary. They didn't necessarily tie it to this, but most folks can now renew their passports online. The State Department announced yesterday. Pretty interesting, huh? And that process is always a pain in the neck to get your passport and to get it renewed. Now, most people will be able to get it renewed online, and a whopping 41% of Americans. Y'all stressed out? A whopping 41% of Americans say they are at peak stress right now. We'll discuss that this morning as well. But first, P. Diddy back in court yesterday, um, trying to plead with a second judge to get his charges. Well, not his charges, but to get out on bail. But he's back at the MDC after Judge Andrew Carter said no, no, no. And part of it, you do dumb things. So he did everything right as far as trying to get bail. He did everything right. His attorney revealed that ever since the raid, they had been cooperating with prosecutors. As we said yesterday, everybody and their mama surrendered their passports. Diddy, prepared his home and everything else for so he could have 50 million. They came up with that number, 50 million. because if I know they figured that would overwhelm the court. He came to New York, um, and they thought that he'd get bail. But people do stupid things. You do stupid things happen. So one of the alleged victims, who is also suing Diddy, it was revealed, and this is a major reason why he's not getting bail. It was revealed that Diddy called her 128 times, trying to get her to publicly to drop the charges, to drop her lawsuit, and not to testify against him in a criminal matter. See, Diddy knew that the criminal matter, him and his attorneys, they're forthright. They said they knew it was coming. They knew this day was coming. But the call, that is the very definition of witness intimidation, or attempt to intimidate a witness. 128 times. You can't do that, Sean. It's just crazy. Who does that? 128 times. 128 times. But I think Diddy is a serial telephone caller though, because I you may have heard me mention this once before on the show. I'm pretty sure I talked about this not at length, and I won't talk about it at length, but um he and his late girlfriend Kim Porter. There was a situation back in 2001. I was going to Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary concerts, and between them two, in the concert. Somebody somehow wanted me to give Kim one of my passes. I didn't know Kim. I knew of her. I knew a couple of things about her, but I'm there. I had a date, and no less than 30, 35 times they kept calling my phone, Diddy and Kim. And first of all, I wasn't answering because the music was playing and it was like loud. We in Madison Square Garden. So my point is Diddy's a serial phone caller. So maybe it's not as weird as it may it sounds. I don't know, the 128. Because of those 30 some odd times my phone rang, I think probably mm, 16, 17, at least half of them was Diddy. So I don't know. Maybe he just, he's the type that you don't answer. I'm going to keep calling until you answer. Me, somebody, I call somebody twice, I'm done. That's it. But Diddy is, he's at the MDC. I said Manhattan yesterday. It's Brooklyn, the MDC in Brooklyn. Um, and so we're getting all these reports about the MDC in Brooklyn. This is where they held so many people and how horrible it is. I think one of the networks had a former inmate talking about, oh gosh, his life is in danger. They have him in complete isolation. He is allowed to buy things from the commissary if he wants, and but other than that, he's total isolation. They are fearing for his life that other inmates will try and do him in. But this is where he will be living. He will not be going home, unfortunately for him. He'll be living there. Um, and throughout a trial. And this is the type of trial that's going. You're talking about RICO, racketeering. So this is a trial that's not going to last, 2 weeks. It's going to be a long drawn out trial because they got all these, uh, 50 some odd witnesses. I'm sure Diddy will put 1,000 people on his witness list. Just because you're on the witness list, the defense's witness list, I mean, they can put whoever they want on it. Doesn't mean the person is going to do you any good. So they got to really vet and find out who's going to do them good. But um, again, they proposed that another thing that really, I think, another reason why he's not getting bail. That first judge, a magistrate, was a woman. And they tell the judge, a female, that essentially blamed Cassie for the beat down he put on her. You tell a judge it's her fault. A female judge at that. A black female judge too. Yeah. I don't know what his lawyers were thinking. And then they repeated it yesterday, although it was a male judge yesterday. They pretty much repeated that. Listen, she shares some of the blame. She shares absolutely none of the blame. I was saying to you, ever watch those old classic movies where a woman smacks a man and he smacks her right back? And I was saying, okay, and not that it's excusable, but I could almost see his reasoning if that happened. It was just that. But even if she hit him first, which we have no evidence that she did, there's been no proof that she did what he claimed. He claimed that Cassie, that is, got jealous, saw him on the phone, took his phone and beat him with his phone, and he chased her into the hallway in that hotel video we saw. That's a bunch of crap. Because even if she did, let's grant them that she did that. There, this dude should be doing time for what we saw in that video. Period. No matter what provoked it. The only thing provoked it was his ego. The only thing provoked it was his lack of respect toward women. That's it. To beat her and stomp her out like that, dude. You need to stay in MDC for at least on that alone 5-10 years. And again, I think that they overcharged him. I say all that and I say I think they overcharged him. I think the indictment is full of if he has is full of holes. If his lawyers are as good as they yapping their mouths on TV, um, and that's a horrible picture right there. I'm talking about on the left with the toilet. Um, J Lo's mom had been. There's a video circulating of J Lo's mom going in on him, and she never wanted J Lo dating him in the first place. I'm not a J Lo fan. I think J Lo is probably the female version of Diddy, in my opinion. But I'm not going there. They told me not to go there. I'm not going there. I have no respect for J Lo. Nonetheless, we move on because I'm going to get in trouble. Um, House Republicans yesterday are expected to was expected to, and they did derail their own plan to avert a government shutdown at the end of the month, with the party divided over the length of a short-term funding bill and what, if anything, should be attached to it. Speaker Mike Johnson's plan calls for extending funding at current spending levels for 6 months through March of 2025, and linking it with the SAVE Act, Donald Trump's legislation that requires that people show proof of citizenship to register to vote. And people might, on the sound of that, okay, what's wrong with that? It's a lot wrong with that because you have to read the entire SAVE Act. They are they are taking folks in Power 96. Um, they are taking uh, the ability, the right away from folks even more in the Save Act. That the headline that they want to make out of it is that they want to keep illegals from voting. Illegals do not vote. They don't vote, folks. It is something that is an issue that it's a non-issue, but it's one that has been created by the MAGA folks, and they are now using this right now as one of their excuses not to uh, do a spending plan to avert a shutdown. The shutdown is going to be um, devastating, and it's going to happen September 30th. Even every voting expert that wears either a D behind their name, as in Democrat, or R behind their name, as in Republican, have noted that it is already illegal and extremely rare that non-citizens try and vote. It is a non-issue. Non-issue. But they want to show. shut down the vote. It's just, come on. They want to shut down the government over it's all politics, but this is the worst kind of politics. Livelihoods. Folks are not going to get paid. Museums and parks and things like that will shutter. Transportation issues will increase. Then it becomes a matter of if you remember in the Reagan era, the air traffic controllers went on strike. It becomes a matter of air travel. Now I'm scheduled to get up there in a few days, but scheduled to get back before the shutdown. So, um, Austin says government shutdowns hurt all Americans, but politically hurts the GOP more. And see, the GOP is not counting on it. They believe it's going to help them because, again, it will, in their minds, show the ineptitude of the Biden Harris administration, which is ridiculous. Mike V says, about, and he's talking about the immigrants, the undocumented immigrants. He says they don't vote because they are not on the voter rolls. When you show up to vote and you're not registered, your name is not on the list. But these folks don't seem to get that. They get it, Mike. They get it. This is a game, and it's a game that they play with people's lives and livelihoods. Orange G, he says, my 3 checks will be here on the 28th. Shut it down, and the GOP will lose bigly. 3 checks? What are you getting 3 checks for? On the 28th, no less. See, I know Power 96 has an in with the U.S. government. Not only did he serve, but somehow he probably usurped the powers of the State Department himself. This guy, he has his ways. That's why that mattress is floating with all that money under it. Despite advancements in early detection and innovative treatments, Black women in the United States face higher mortality rates from breast cancer compared to white women. A systematic review, and meta analysis led by Massachusetts General Brigham Integrated Healthcare System sheds light on the extent of these disparities across different breast cancer subtypes. The results revealed that Black women have a significantly higher risk of breast cancer mortality across all tumor types and subtypes. Specifically, the risk of death was 50% higher for hormone receptor positive or HER2 negative tumors, 34% higher for hormone receptor positive HER2 positive tumors, and 20% higher for hormone receptor negative HER2 positive tumors, and 17% higher for hormone receptive or receptor negative HER2 negative tumors. Um, these HER2s. These are they describing the type of tumors, and these are common. The HER2s and these disparities. They are present even in the most treatable forms of breast cancer. According to Dr. Erica Warner, a cancer epidemiologist at Mass General, she says our findings demonstrate that multiple interacting factors contribute to disparities in breast cancer and survival between Black and white women. She says to achieve equity, intervention is necessary at multiple levels from community to healthcare systems and individual healthcare providers to patients themselves, learning about their disease and what their expectations should be for their care. Of course, breast cancer remains the most diagnosed cancer among U.S. women and is the second leading cause of cancer death. Reportedly, Black women are about 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. And until this study, researchers said it was unclear if this disparity existed across all breast cancer subtypes. And so it does. And here's the thing, for women in general and Black women specifically, you have to take charge. We had that conversation yesterday about cancer with James Williams, American Cancer Foundation. Um, you have to take control of your health care. Know your body, and it's okay if it's the least little thing, like anything you feel like that's not necessarily normal. Let me sleep it off, or let me go. Let me see what happens. A couple. Don't do that. Don't do it immediately, and don't let your doctor tell you, "Oh, it's probably nothing." You don't wanna hear that. What you wanna hear is, "Doc, it probably is nothing, but I want this I want you to really, uh, find out." Whether it's doing a mammogram, whether it's doing some sort of X-rays, well, I don't know what they do. Whatever they do, you make them do it. You take authority over your health. Um, on a personal front, my mom, years ago, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, caught it immediately. She went to Johns Hopkins Hospital, and they said, "Oh, it's probably not." She said, "No, I know my body. This is something." And she insisted, and the doctor told her, "Okay, well, let's do this." And she went to Philadelphia from Baltimore to the what is it called? The cancer center is no longer there anymore. I was just told it's in Illinois now only. But and they told her, "You're absolutely right. This is cancer." Whereas the other doctor was like, "Take 2 aspirins and just relax." And because of that, and this was way back in 2011, I believe. Because of that, she's had she's been fine. She's healthy. She's had no other problems. Cancer has not come back. Take control of your health care. Don't let your doctor, especially, we talked about this yesterday too. Um, Doctors, we certainly need more, and we talked about this yesterday too. Thank goodness for HBCUs. We need more doctors who look like us, who know us, who understand our environment as well. You have to take control of it. Yeah, like my wife, the least little thing, she's like, "Doctor." She's like, "Ah, it drives me nuts." The least little thing. Urgent care urgent care is almost like primary care. It's like, wow. But she's always right. She's always right, because you come home with antibiotics or something. So, but this cancer, we're so far behind the 8 ball anyway, black folks and black women in this case in general. And so the least little thing, and it's hard for us. There are other aspects of it. We know you have folks working 2 jobs or more, trying to make ends meet, as it were, taking care of, your families. I ain't got time to go sit in the doctor's office where they make you wait for 2 hours. But you do. You make that time, and yeah, you you know, I know it's not easy to tell somebody, "Hey, if you gotta give up a couple of hours of pay, if you're an hourly person, you just gotta do it." And I know people need every cent of their paychecks. I do, but you also need to stay alive and stay healthy. So we really gotta get it together. And according to and James M. Williams Jr. yesterday and others, we are now seeing more and more African Americans participating um, in the healthcare in their healthcare situation. We're seeing more screenings. It's still a long way to go, but we are seeing a positive movement in that direction. More African Americans are now participating in clinical trials. We still need a whole lot more, but it's a start. And we are getting more doctors of color. Mike V says September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. He says, I wish the NFL and major organizations would wear blue and raise an awareness, especially with 2/3 of your players being black male. It's a great, great point. Orange G says, I'm afraid of urgent care facilities. I'd rather try a home remedy. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, he wants to be hard headed. Go to your doctor. You don't have to go to urgent care. Go to your doctor. Go to your primary care. Urgent cares are not great. Uh, they're good for certain purposes, um, but it isn't the greatest situation. They don't have all of the tools necessary. But go to your primary care. Take some of the money from out under your mattress, Power 96, and go to your primary care. Pay that whatever the copay might be. You can afford it. He just doesn't want to give up any of his money, and the poor child that he's charging all this student loan interest to. Is he paid off his student loan? Has he paid it off yet? Power 96. I mean, man, what kind of payment plan he's got? I want to know. Millions of Americans can now renew their passports online instead of mailing the State Department paper documents with a check. The department announced Wednesday that it is online system is now open after months of limited testing and years of pilot programs. Rena Bitter, who is the Assistant Secretary for Consular Affairs, said, we are really excited that we are now making online passport renewal available. This is a new service that will allow Americans to pay, upload a photo, and apply completely online with no need to appear in person or send documents through the mail. The State Department says that about 5 million people can use the service a year. Last year, the department renewed 9.6 million passports. Bitter said the online service is currently limited to renewals for adult 10-year passports that have expired within the last 5 years or will expire in the coming year. It is also available for those needing expedited service, anyone not living in the United States, or people changing details like their name or gender. She says, we want to make sure that we get this right. So this is where we're starting. Um, the other part, shoot, folks, they want their passports in working order because we don't know what November might bring. So, oh shoot, Power 96 says he goes to the VA every 6 months. He enjoys the free popcorn. You see, it's got to be a catch for him, and he says that he's going to collect that student loan debt this weekend. Yeah, I feel bad for his kid because I know he got goons that he'll send to collect if his son is not on time with the payment. So I don't know his son, but young man, please pay your student loan debt to your dad. He's sending the cavalry out this weekend. You only got a couple of days. But get your passports, folks, and you can do it online. So I checked to see if the system was up and running, and it is. You can go now and just click. There's a drop down menu. You just click renew online. It literally says renew online. Um, and so you can do that. Mike V says the next step is to digitally enable the passport for your smartphone so we can tap and go. Yeah, I see that too because one of my daughters flew last week and she texted us from the plane. She was all giddy. Guess what? I didn't even have to take my license, show my ID. They already had it was one of those scanning things that they already had her in the system, and she whatever face scan thing. So they got the technology to do all of this. It's kind of scary though. It's kind of scary. It seems like, I mean, with the TSA, I've always had TSA pre. I'm not standing in lines that I don't have to stand in. Um, but with the clear and all that stuff, it seems like okay, it's convenient for us travelers, but it seems like it's kind of iffy based on all of the laws and regulations put in place after 9/11 to tighten security. And I'm not sure that I want all this loosening of security measures. because people are crazy. We're seeing so much, and it's so much going on. I love the idea of a tight security at the airport, tight security measures. I know it's an inconvenience. I can't stand it myself, but I also appreciate it. At least I know when I get through security, I'm in some of the safest spaces that you can be as far as weapons are concerned anyway. And I don't fly Spirit Airlines, so I don't have to worry about getting in the middle of a brawl with somebody. I mean, they're always fighting over there. Frontier, Spirit. Now Spirit's gonna call us up. And then tomorrow's show will be brought to you by Spirit Airlines. Not really, because they don't have first class or business class. They just have no class. That's what I can't get with it. They revamping one of Greer's secondary airlines, Southwest. Now they starting to assign seating there. They starting to get some class, some business class or something in Southwest. So they're saying we're not going the route of Spirit. Oh boy! And speaking of stress, y'all stressed out. Because in the year marked by financial worries and political tension, there's a new study that has uncovered the staggering impact of stress on everyday Americans. The average person feels their head spinning from stress a whopping 156 times per day, translating to about 3 times this spinning happens a week for all Americans. But could you imagine 156 times a day a person's head is spinning from stress? It is an alarming stat, and it's just one of many eye-opening findings from a study conducted by Talker Research for Traditional Medicines or Medicinals. That's the name of that company, right? Talker Research for Traditional Medicinals. The survey polled 2,000 adults, and it found that 41% of respondents are currently experiencing their peak stress levels for the year. Even more concerning, Americans say they experience brain fog with the same frequency as stress headaches. You know that brain fog, you're like, "Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Well, I forgot what I was just gonna say." And so, 30% of those surveyed remain hopeful that their stress levels will decrease by the end of the year. 26% fear that stress might actually increase. Despite the high stress levels, though, a surprising 45% of respondents have never taken a mental health day or a sick day from work solely due to stress. We're now seeing athletes and entertainers. Usher recently took a stress day. And remember, people was up in a uproar. He's not doing his Atlanta concert tonight. He said he needed to decompress. And we all know the whole thing with Naomi Osaka. The tennis is great, but they're not. This is not translating to the workplace though. The 9 to 5ers. You got to take a stress day. Comparing stress levels to previous years, 38% of survey participants believe that 2024 has been more stressful than last year, although it's been less stressful than 2022. And of course, during the pandemic years. Um, Spirit Airlines does have the big seat. Daniela Pierre says Spirit Airlines does have I'm just seeing these comments. Y'all are hilarious. And she also says, with all that's going on, I'm surprised it's only 156 times a day people's heads are spinning. And Mike V, of course, if you're black, that's got to be double. Imagine black folks being harassed at work or pulled over by police, a misinformation of eating the cats, eating the dogs, calling folks DEI. He can go on and on and on. Exactly. Um, The primary source, they according to this study of anxiety, includes finances, the economy, and physical health, the presidential election, and other world issues. People stressed out about the election, give it a rest. Stop listening to to all of the misinformation. You know it's misinformation. Turn it off. Americans also noted various signs that reveal they're stressed, including trouble sleeping. 42% have trouble sleeping. Irritability. Oh gosh, you're just irritating the heck out of me. 37% said that. 34% suffer from fatigue, and 33% headaches. And then 31% said they suffer from feeling worried or paranoid. So, what do people do when they're stressed? Well, those in this survey, almost half of them say they turn to music or seek comfort in favorite television shows and movies. 17% start hitting the snack bars. 14% have tea as if they're like in Great Britain or something. And a staggering 71% of respondents agree that their overall mental health would improve if they could reduce their stress levels. But incorporating self care strategies into your daily life still remains a challenge for 1 in 7 Americans. Nearly half express a desire for simple stress reduction options that fit into their busy schedules rather than any elaborate routine. Thus, the music that Cheryl Brown points out. And Cheryl Brown, see, she's got a secret weapon. She's got that voice. It's no relation, but I know she got that voice. I know Cheryl. Cheryl sings. When considering a de-stressing regimen, respondents are equally split between wanting long-term overall wellness and the ability to alleviate stress quickly. Yeah, we all want to get rid of stress. We all want to get rid of stress, but there are things. Hey, if music is your bag, then hey, let's do it. Um, that binging on snacks, though, I don't know if that's a great idea. That might lead to something else being a problem. So we have to be reasonable about how we do it. But when your head's spinning 156 times a day, I guess it's hard to really figure it out. Orangey Power 96. He says you have to admit some of the misinformation is too daggone funny. The fake VP Harris videos are worse than a bad Tubi movie. And some of it is funny, but some people those who take everything seriously. Yeah, there you go, Mike B. I'm trying to cut down though. I haven't had any scotch in a few days. It's been about 4 or 5 days. I got to cut back because otherwise, Maria's gonna get rid of me. It's gonna replace me with Austin or something. Can't have Austin sitting in the big chair. Who knows where this thing would go if Austin was sitting in the big chair? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Austin he'll bring more intelligence. I know that. But aside from that, who knows? Who knows? um, Folks, we have some entertainment news tomorrow that we're going to bring you. Um, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, but we have some pretty big news to bring you and some other stuff on Let It Be Known. But in the meantime, we want you to, David Youngblood says Stress is his middle name. David Stress Youngblood. We can't have that. David, we can't have that. Relax, David. Relax. We need David in one piece. Uh, Go to our YouTube page. You have been doing such a great job in getting folks to subscribe. So let's pick it back up. Austin tells me to quit hating. It's what I do. Haters gonna hate. um, Go to our YouTube page. Tell folks to go to our YouTube page as well. subscribe, and share it. Help us out. Help a brother out. Help the black press out. And we will be at this again tomorrow. You know what it is too, and I gotta lift them up. The Orangey says it is the week. His weekend starts every Thursday. Oh, I didn't see Southbound JSU in the building. I love. I didn't see that. But also don't miss the Orangey show on YouTube. You got to check it out. Go there now to his page as well because you can see episodes you may have missed and perhaps a preview of what's to come. This guy, you got to watch him. Hopefully, Mike V says that Let It Be Known can get an interview with Harris Walsh before November 5th. Yeah, let's hope so. There it is, the Orangey Swag Sports. Y'all got to check it out. I was looking at it the other day, making the little comments. Of course, he's like, I don't want this dude in my comments. I'm not messing with him. But go to our Let It Be Known YouTube page. Folks, we don't mind wherever you watch, but we really, really love it when you subscribe and watch from our YouTube page, the Let It Be Known news. Thanks for watching. As always, we will see you again tomorrow.